What do you think would happen if America's main food supply was struck with an unavoidable disease that caused a devastating drop in production, and the population was forced to fend for themselves in order to survive? Though hard to imagine, this was a reality for those who lived in Ireland during the period of the Great Famine. During this period, known as the Great Famine or the Great Hunger, there was an outbreak of a fungus that invaded the potato crop in Ireland in late 1845 and lasted until 1852. The blight was said to have originated in Mexico and the United States in 1843 and became widespread in the eastern portions of the US and Canada. It made its way across the Atlantic to northern and central Europe, including Belgium, the Netherlands, northern France, and southern England by mid-1845. Traveling through Europe, it reached Ireland's west coast during October of 1845. Before this time, Ireland had developed a large dependence on potatoes due to the crop's nature of being a calorie-dense food and the country's climate that was suitable for cultivation. Potatoes and milk were among the main goods that sustained Ireland's economy in the form of export to Great Britain. So when the blight hit the country, its effects were devastating. The potato made up a third of Ireland's diet and was also used to feed cattle, so when production was halted, both of the country's primary sources of trade were affected. The blight was responsible for roughly 1 million deaths, with the worst year being 1847, which was deemed the Black 47 and claimed the lives of over 400,000 people. This devastating famine was also one of the leading contributors in the immigration of another 1 million Irish citizens to other parts of the world for those who were fortunate enough to afford it. The population during this period was around 8.5 million, so the famine, disease, and immigration caused the loss of roughly a quarter of Ireland's inhabitants during these challenging times and had long-lasting consequences. During the period of the Great Famine, Ireland was governed by a British Parliament in London, one of which was Sir Charles Edward Trevelyan, who oversaw government relief on the situation. In a private conversation, Trevelyan described how the hardships of Ireland could benefit the British by stating, quote, "We must not complain of what we really want to obtain. If small farmers go and their landlords are reduced to sell portions of their estates to persons who will invest capital, we shall at last arrive at something like a satisfactory settlement of the country." End quote. The crop disease caused a great deal of tension between the Irish citizens and the ruling class and set forth a movement for independence due to poor governing and a lack of accountability by the British Parliament. The history of the Great Famine is a grim reminder of how inadequate handling and overdependence on life-sustaining resources can have long-lasting effects.